And all of a sudden on Friday, whatever day Thanksgiving is, you're gonna have people at your door and there's not gonna be a turkey around.
No, it was really weird because you know that I had said that no, I'm not gonna do turkey or whatever. And so last night, someone knocks at my door, and I looked through and I see this woman, and she's like going like this for me to look, and I can't see. So I come in, I get my mask, and she moves out of the gate. And I open the door, and she's telling me. I didn't understand fully. What I understood what she was like from a liaison from the police department, because to me it's like, why are you bringing me a turkey? I don't live. I live right across the street from like a white neighborhood.
You're the immigrant.
From the
A middle class neighborhood.
Yeah. So
An
I'm
upper
like, why is this happening? But I
You're
felt
the immigrant.
I had the thought to just accept it.
But then when you thought about cooking, you say, I
No,
can do
I
better.
didn't think about it. Was just like accept it without any thought of what was going to happen. And then I was like, okay, it's definitely not for me, because it didn't feel like it was for me. So, espérate. I sent a message to Gebeu, and Gebeu was like, no, I have my turkey. So then I sent a message to because I have my neighbor. I have one neighbor who we do favors, for. She has a lot of animals and she has a lot of people in her house. And I sent her a message, if you didn't get a turkey, I have one. Because I saw the woman drive to the next house, and I thought that they would get to Elizabeth's house, but they didn't. So she was very grateful. She was like, yes, thank you. She came over. It took her 5 minutes to get in her car and come and get it.
She was turkey ready.
She said, that's great, because I was gonna go buy my turkey tomorrow.
Perfect.
And it was a big turkey too.
Yeah, I saw it. I thought I saw Lilo eating turkey until springtime.
No, I didn't want to do it. No. It was interesting. So, leo la lección.
Of course.
Of course.
So we're on 329.
Yeah.
La lección 329. He elegido ya lo que tu voluntad dispone. Padre, pensé que me había apartado de tu voluntad, que la había desafiado, que había violado sus leyes y que había interpuesto una segunda voluntad más poderosa que la tuya. En realidad, no obstante, no soy otra cosa que tu voluntad, extendida y extendiéndose. Eso es lo que soy y eso nunca habrá de cambiar. Así como tú eres uno, así yo soy uno contigo. Eso fue lo que elegí en mi creación, en la que mi voluntad se hizo eternamente una con la tuya. Esa decisión se tomó para siempre. No puede cambiar ni oponerse a sí misma. Padre, mi voluntad es la tuya. Estoy a salvo, tranquilo y sereno, y gozo de una dicha interminable, porque así lo dispone tu voluntad. Hoy aceptaremos la unión que existe entre nosotros y nuestra fuente. No tenemos otra voluntad que la suya y todos somos uno porque todos compartimos su voluntad. Por medio de ella reconocemos que somos uno solo. Por medio de ella encontramos por fin el camino que nos conduce a Dios. He elegido ya lo que tu voluntad dispone. Nos dice una y otra vez, mi voluntad es la tuya, mi voluntad es la tuya, tu voluntad es la mía. It's saying over and over again.
Sí.
You get it? You get it?
You get it? You get it now? Get it now? How about now? How about now?
So I had a couple more dreams this morning that were kind of funny, actually. Can I share?
Of course.
We're waiting.
It's like Astrid. Can I read the lesson? Of course.
So again, I just write them out so I don't really forget what the subtleties. So this morning, 2 dreams came as lessons. This was requesting for it as I lay this head down for apparent sleep last night. The first was vague in all the areas that carried no seeming importance to the lesson. I was walking with a couple of people in a marshy area, and a duck was found appearing to be close to its mortal end. One of the people picked it up along with a clay pot with some soil in it and put the duck head down in it with its feet skyward, looking like a blooming amaryllis. I looked at this arrangement with clear judgment, and I was told by the duck planted carrier that he will be all right. The duck will be all right. At some point, I apparently couldn't take this ridiculous looking situation any longer and reached over and pulled the poor fowl from its pot and set it back on the ground. It was soon after I was awakened with a need to empty a bladder. Upon walking to the bathroom, I could feel the discomfort surging through my lower limbs from something out of alignment for the past week. Upon rising from the toilet, I made my way to the heating pad to attempt to loosen the muscles a bit before returning to bed. Laying there, an awareness rolled through as there was a question as to which dream was I in. It was clear this awareness, I am this body that feels this, no. It was clear this awareness, am I this body that feels this pain? Was it this that feels the warmth of subsequent relief? And was I not making this dream state real by attempting to mitigate the pain that was being felt? As I laid there, a smile broke into a laugh, considering these 2 dreams unfolding one after the other. I then turned quietly to forgiveness before getting up and returning to bed. The other dream happened a few hours later, I think. I had found what I recall as a dead, dying crow. So 2 dying birds.
2 dying birds.
I was seemingly back at the monastery. I had picked it up and brought it back to the parking area where a number of people were gathered. Within a few moments, what looked like a sheriff vehicle drove up, and as it circled in front of me, I saw on its side that it was some kind of bird collection agency. When I looked back at the bird, Kirsten was carrying it toward the car. The bird was alive and looking around. I watched as I was getting really upset because I knew the bird was going to be euthanized. Upon awakening from this dream, the sleep dream, I could see again the ridiculous nature of what was transpiring, the beliefs held that made something false appear real. Dead birds, or dying ones anyway.
What were you feeling with the 2 birds that were dying? Were you feeling like compassion or empathy or any kind of emotion?
Well, yeah, I mean, Birds have been always a big part of this life. I feed them. I feed crows. I don't feed ducks, but you know,
Why not? Why not ducks?
well, I just don't have them around me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was
But
some kind of.
no, but I feed songbirds in my backyard, and you know, on any given day during the spring, summer, or fall, I can have, gosh, 100 little birds about there, and it's just for the joy or the pleasure of watching them. So birds have always kind of been a part of this life. So I don't know what they symbolize particularly, if it's freedom or what.
I mean, I can give you mine, like what I got.
Yeah.
I think that in the process, it probably symbolized the death of the self.
Mm.
You're just watching how the ego self is dying, and I think, at least for me, there's like a period of some mourning on that. Like we mourn that a little bit. Go ahead.
I was going to say I had a period, a moment yesterday, and I don't recall if it was during a walk I was on, or if I was I wasn't home, but it was after reading Renard, and
What
I could.
part?
Excuse me?
Do you recall what part of the book you were reading?
The ego's plan. Probably.
Ego's plan for salvation.
Or it may have been the very end of The Secrets of Existence. And so what I witnessed was, you know, in a different way for me, that parting of the veil. And I say differently because I could really see, almost like, you know how the first movies came out, they kind of had that clicking, that slow element to it. It was as if there was a sort of slowness to the perception of things moving, like to show some sort of falseness in what was being seen. And I don't recall if it was something I was watching later on TV, and it was some typically really not only a sad moment, but the person was like in this grieving moment, this grieving space, and I found myself laughing, not at a lack of compassion, but for the choices that were being made by this character on the TV set. And then there was this awareness of forgiveness that was an opportunity. And that's relatively new for me, to see forgiveness come in as a choice. So, yeah.
What comes to me is that the ultimate question is, what is it for, and how do I feel? Because the ego will present a lot of symbols and will try us to look meaning into the symbols and the situations. And that's another sort of attempt not to deprive us of the opportunity of being in the present moment right now. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. Can you see that bird that is right there? On top of the
Rail?
rail. You see it? I don't know. Well, as I was talking, just a bird came there.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. So yeah, I got the symbol, and now it's like calling. Come over here. You hear it? I don't know if you hear it. Okay. And you know that usually doesn't happen. But he's coming over frequently now. Anyway, what I was trying to get at is that the ultimate question is what I'm going to use this for. Nothing here has any meaning at all. Meaning is God. Meaning is our relation with God.
Mm.
And the relation that we have in spirit with everything. That is meaning, and it's not a meaning of symbols. It's a meaning of presence and being. But since we are trying to heal our minds, the most beneficial thing that we can do, it just go in the other direction. Like before, we were always trying to find significance in our being and the being of others and the situations and the relationships and all these events and all these connections and stuff. But now I think that we are at a moment that we can accelerate our experience
Mm-hmm.
in terms of what I want to feel now, knowing that we do have the power to decide what I'm going to use this for or how I am willing to feel it right now. And that would be a quick reminder to don't let yourself be entangled looking for meaning in a meaningless world.
Mm.
You can decide that you must desire. I want to be happy. I'm eternal being in spirit and happiness with the bird, with the pod, with the place, with the people that were there, with the intentions of everyone, with the thoughts that I had that this wasn't real, or which dream is real and what is not. If I am this or I am not that, that is not helpful at all, because it puts you in a position of uncertainty
Mm.
immediately as you try to. No, you get the symbols. I can use this to feel happy. If I am not feeling happy with this, show me how can I be happy.
Mm.
Because after a while, you will know that there are some changes that happen to you in the dream, but they are really not external changes. You notice them and acknowledge them with certain awe. Wow, what is this? But a quietness and a happiness that you're watching some changes within you that you know that you will never have done by yourself. And that calls for gratitude and humility. But also it attests the power of the mind that it has to accept correction. I will give you a small example that happened to me yesterday at night. It wasn't night. It was night for me, like, I guess maybe 7 or like 7. I hear the phone and I usually don't hear the phone at that time. And usually I look, not answer. But it was my youngest son, and he knows that at that time, because I was in the toilet, and I don't take the phone to the toilet with me. So when I checked and I saw it was a missed call from him, I sent him a text that said, I trust that you're okay. I was in the toilet, and like a smile. So I left it there and continued hearing. Of course, I was hearing, I think, chapter 9 yesterday. And then again, the phone rings. And again, I'm in the toilet. So I decided to go and pick the phone. Say, hey. I had the most short and loving conversation with my youngest. And the issue was really not the words that they were said. Said, I know, Mom, that if I call you at this time, there's a 98% chance that I will catch you in the toilet. Okay, and we laugh. And then he was supposed to come over. I haven't seen him like in 3 months, and he lives just like 2 hours away. But he was supposed to come with the sister, Adriana, and he just told me, I don't think I'm going because I don't think that I want to be near her because I don't want to be rude to her. So I said, that's lovely, really lovely. And that's pretty much, he told me to be minded of the mail because maybe he will get something. And I said, I love you. And okay, good night, baby. Have good dreams and remember to love everything around you. And that he could not hear. I had to say it 3 times. And I was laughing because at the last time I said, of course, you cannot hear that. But for me, my mental process was so loving, was so quiet, was so happy that I wasn't interested in the details. He didn't need to tell me any details. He was just being honest, recognizing his limitation of being present and not be a jerk, and not pushing something that he wasn't feeling completely happy about. And just having the kindness to let me know about it, but without any intent of creating drama or telling me stories or anything. Just as a matter of fact, I don't feel like this, blah, blah, blah. And the other part is that I wasn't interested in the story. I was interested in the healing in the moment. So little things like that in your daily life will start showing up and you will see yourself feeling at peace with what is happening. Not having to make a story future of what will happen if he gets whatever or esto, lo otro, which was my previous mental state. And you see how useful you can be when you decide just to pay attention to the love in your heart. and not let other symbols obstruct that from your awareness. Because in that way, you will know how to be present, humble and loving with everybody all the time.
Mm. Mm.
And I was thinking about your family too. Knowing, that they are as part of this conversation as everybody else, because whenever somebody comes to my awareness in any way that it only comes for me to see the light and not the details of the little stories, because that is not useful for anybody. But it's not useful for me
Mm.
personally, and I am committed to wake up. I cannot waste any thought in anything else. It's not worth it. And I am worthy, you know? And that I must include everything. Otherwise, there is no I. There's nothing. Because the I has to be the Christ. If it's not Christ, which is everything, there is literally nothing. And if you remember Christ and if you see Christ everywhere, you make sure that you will receive miracles from every end, but not the ones that you think that are supposed to happen. That has to be completely erased. The clean slate, that's the I don't know mind.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the I am care for mind. Because it's trusting enough that its path, like the lesson says today. The path is so perfect that there are no mistakes and everybody's included in its blessing. And it's literally a magnificent state that can just be present, even silent or quiet, and still appreciate everything that comes to it.
Mm.
And again, it laughs a lot because you can enjoy. You can enjoy all the time with everything until there's no more remedy and you have to deal with something. But if you're in that joyous place, most probably you will deal with whatever very lovingly and very happily, and everything can be transformed right in your very eyes.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Beautiful. Truly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It is for me.
See.
And I also wanted to tell you that you don't know this, but I have taken care of many, not many, but not everybody takes care of people that are dying or sick, and I have that opportunity in a couple of occasions. And it has come to me the thought that, I surrender it to the Holy Spirit, but if ever you decide to take care of your father, maybe I could give you a hand with that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What does that mean for you, Adriana?
What?
What you just said. Well,
No, it means that it has come to my mind the scene of me taking care of your father with you.
Hmm.
But of course, it's like the dog. He has to be treated equally, ¿verdad? I love the dog. I love your father. I love you. I love the people from the rescue thing. I love the put animals to sleep. I have had that experience a couple of times now with animals that I really had a lovely connection with. And people too, you know.
Mm.
I mean, I didn't kill anybody, but you know.
See.
But yeah, those kind of thoughts that come to our mind, we have to be open and grateful because they are all the same.
Mm.
And the difference is that we don't pursue them. We welcome them and give them to the Holy Spirit. Like, okay, I'm willing. If it's supposed to be like that, it will be shown without any effort. It's not that this is my plan, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna say that, tú sabes. No, I was grateful for David because somebody asked the question and I thought that he was going to sleep. Because somebody said, well, I have a good connection with the Holy Spirit. I don't feel that I have to be saying to people and expressing to people because I can express to the Holy Spirit. And since they have this policy of expression sessions and stuff, but I thought that he was going kind of a vaguely, but no, was beautiful. I even said, good for you, David. I was hearing it. And he said, well, the expression sessions are for people who don't trust in their connection with the Holy Spirit. Because eventually you will have to say it's a bridge for you to have a connection with the Holy Spirit. But if you have the connection with the Holy Spirit, then you don't need the expression sessions. You know?
Yeah.
Very good for you, to be honest and say it like that.
I had the same thought. I remember watching that question and my ears pricked up. I'm like, okay. Because I had the same thought that you did. I was like, let's see what he's gonna answer. Because for me, it's what he said. If you have a connection with the Holy Spirit, there's nobody else out there that you're expressing to anyway. So when he answered that question, I was doing the same thing. Good, David, good, yes. And I remember that was the night that Gebeo came. And after the retreat, for some reason, we started to drink. But she was here. We were actually out here, right here where I am. And I said to her, let's see what he answers, because this is what I think. And when he started to talk, she was like, yay! We were both like, yay!
Let's have another round.
No, we started to drink after the retreat. Somos disciplinados. We're disciplined.
Really? Oh, you're
it was
very
after.
well behaved.
We were well behaved.
Well, that for lack of better words, that sharing just hit home.
I'm glad you're ready. It's very nice it's nice to communicate with everybody when you're in a loving state, of course. But when you know that your truest, most intimate realizations can be comprehended and appreciated by other part of you, it's a very refreshing and and loving experience when we are in time and space.
Yeah.
And and that can be shared with, it is actually shared with the whole creation. And that brings us happiness too.
Hmm. Yeah.
For me, when we have that experience of being, like you say, understood or comprehended and appreciated with, there's a, for lack of a better phrase, like-minded people, to me, it's just a reflection of the healing of the one mind. And it's just reflecting back to me, my own healing. And in that, we don't have to exclude anybody. We don't have to create any type of specialness or anything. Just go back to the idea of the one mind and think, well, of course, if I'm healing, then it's going to reflect back. But
Yeah.
everyone is included in that. It's really hard to explain, right? Es difícil explicar.
Es que it's total. It has no meaning with symbols. It's a totality.
No.
And I think in present company, it's not that difficult to hear. So it's not needing to be said in any special way.
Mm.
Yes,
So I
I'm
had
feeling.
all three of us at the same time. Go. All right. So I had one quick question as well. And I'm sure that I'm clear on the answer anyway, but for the sake of clarity, when it says in the Course to forgive your brother for what he has not done, to the decision mind, that doesn't make any sense. To a decisive mind, doesn't make any sense. But I'm understanding this to say that because the world's an illusion, nothing has ever happened. And so what we're forgiving is for what hasn't happened. Yeah, okay.
It's actually an experience. You get to live like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's inevitable that at the beginning you will hear the word forgiveness and you apply it to something that you think that it did happen.
Right.
But eventually you get to comprehend the atonement principle, which just said that nothing happened. That's why you don't need it to forgive anything but your perception and your illusions, which are ultimately your fabrications because God didn't do them. And then the door is open for everybody because there's no other body. But that's the thing with the Course. It's dual in its language, but the content is non-dual. And it will depend upon each part to decide when he wants to pass from duality to non-duality, or retreat to duality again and then go to non-duality, blah, 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 until it comes to a point when you totally associate your pain with staying in duality.
See.
And that has nothing to do with where the body is or what the body is feeling or where the body is moving or not, or even existing. That's a decision in the mind that has nothing to do with time and space. So either then, you blow up and you say, okay, what is helpful right here, right now?
it's one thing I do find when it comes to forgiveness. Certainly, there are things that have a fairly compelling quality to them in terms of it's easy to forgive deeply. You know, that there's more of a, for lack of better words, a sort of emotion to the forgiveness and intensity. But much of the time, especially if I'm going back, and I was even considering this morning, looking at the areas that are at least quite obvious where guilt just rises. And one area that I can speak to that has plagued me for much of this life is the amount of wealth that has just manifested itself in this life. So I've carried that around like, well, I've carried it around sort of like a wound, if you will, you know, because a lot of people that I know don't have. And so looking at these areas of guilt and finding ways to forgive them. And of course, this comes from a duality perspective, right? I did nothing that I can put my finger on to amass the wealth that has come in this life, right? But my question is this, real quickly. My question is more of, is forgiveness dependent on how deeply we connect to what we're forgiving?
No,
No.
because there are no degrees.
But know what?
There are no degrees.
No degree. Right. Okay. Good point. Yeah.
Forgiving a mosquito, forgiving your dying mother is the same.
Yeah.
There are figures and projections on your mind that is not even yours. Because the mind that is sleeping has no source. Was not created by God. Ego is not source.
Sí. Claro.
Therefore, is non-existent, non-creative. So it's equally all untrue. That's why we can be happy with everything. Because eventually you will know that that God, he could not have done anything different. But
Sí.
that God is no better than the other God that is in the streets and has no money.
Sí.
Because they both equally illusory. One has not more than the other. So therefore the guilt is totally an ego trip that has no value at all. The value you give it, but not because it's value in itself. It's because you don't want to relinquish the ego. So therefore you're hugging to ego beliefs because you're afraid of being only a spirit. And then all the dramas come, you know?
Yeah.
The letter of Astrid causing the burning of the house, the father that is going to live with the mother of the two motherfuckers, you know? And all the things that we can relate to, the similar things that happen to us, we are quickly learning to accept them as illusions that we willingly chose with the only purpose of not experiencing ourselves as pure spirit. And therefore, you know, ourselves is everybody. You know, I want to convey that whenever I'm talking for everything in the dream. There's no other remember the other day that I told you that there's no conflict in the Middle East. Está en tu culo, it's in your ass. It's literally like that.
Sí.
It's nowhere. And we want to experience that as quickly as we can with every moment. That's the only way that we can be truly helpful. Because otherwise we will be going around with that really has no consequence. And we want to be really helpful all the time. That's our nature. That's our true state of mind when we are in creation. Creation extends happiness, extends security, extends love, extends joy, extends everything that is part of the being that has no time, has no guilt, has no memories, is ever present, ever giving, ever extending. And we can become that while we're here apparently in a body. But we have to surrender the body completely. What is that? Every morning, this body is yours, use it. This money is yours, you use it. Whatever, this preference is yours, you use it. This relationship is yours, you use it. And we have to remind ourselves constantly. That's what the course talks about, vigilance. Because our programming here is geared towards negating that possibility. And when you are watching your thoughts, you're seeing how you try to sabotage that thought of blissful eternal wealth that you had within you because of what you are, not what you have. And it's so independent of anything that you seem to do in time and space. Making that incision between the experience and the reality that always in you has to be done by the Holy Spirit, which is actually the bridge. But when he does the bridging, he helps you in a way to experience the difference of where the healing is happening and what it looks outside. Because we usually have all these concepts that it has to look certain ways. And it's not really like that. And until we get to that, then we condemn ourselves by smoke, for smoking, or for not being out there doing things and being in a couch all day, or being a cleaning lady, or having my kids far from me, or the ego will find any excuse for you not to be extending love everywhere, including the little self that you think you are. And then we get confused. No, I should be doing something else. I should be, it should have been different in the past. I should have decided this. And that, I'm going back to the beginning where I started. The most purposive question is what I'm using this for and how do I feel? If I'm using it for healing, I will feel at peace and happy and joyful. And that's the question that you will have to ask yourself with every ego question that comes. That's another way of going to your higher self. Because when you're going to your higher self, he's only interested in awakening you, not in giving you things in the world.
I'm grateful to be sitting here with you both, and I'm on some level sorry that this isn't a Zoom page filled with all kinds of little thumbnails of faces to hear. You understand?
Sí.
Yeah, but I am ready. You don't have to think like that. It's
I know.
you are. Yeah, you are all the people. And then in turn, you know, because the course says it so nicely. It says you have a special function because you asked one. And now the Holy Spirit will do through you so you can complete your part, which is essential. And that's a great responsibility that you will. The cat is after the bird. Oh my God. You will have to take it lovingly and happily. And then you will see yourself, you know, instead of meddling with the figures in the dream and the drama, using all that as an opportunity to release your responsibility of healing the whole world. Yes, that's the way it is done. And it's so perfect for you when you don't fight it. Because at first I was here, I know this, I could talk, I could do, I could esto. Why somebody doesn't come along to help me with the technology or whatever? Or, you know, I went to Mexico, let me see if they see me, they feel something, they invite me, something happens. And I've been here for more than 10 years now, just in this secluded space. When I stopped fighting and I saw how perfectly it is for me, that's why I started to say I must stop being an ungrateful motherfucker. Because all the work that needs to be done is being doing 24 hours here and nobody has to see it. And if I feel otherwise, I will have to remind myself how perfect it is the way for everybody.
Sí. Sí.
Yeah, we have to be very vigilant because our mind is inviting us to suffering all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Wishing to see that things were a bit different is suffering. You're denying your divinity right there. Pakiti. The only way that we can be happy in an unhappy place, which is all this dream of time and space, is to remember that we are not here.
Yeah.
And when you remember that, you get inspired, you get the energy, and you get everything you need to do in the present moment. And then you can be watchful because the ego will start breaking up the body, fucking up everything, you know? Like it's drowning and it's trying to come onto the surface. And you will have to see that and laugh. Because it will seem like, oh, it's the fucking neighbor that has this music and it's bothering me, or oh, it's my sister that doesn't understand me, oh, it's my husband that keep on talking all the time. You know, we all have all these lovely excuses not to feel grateful. Yeah, we're not where we are by chance. Yeah. We have to keep reminding us that we have to be our own cheerleaders. And that has to be so precious for us. Yeah. So precious. That has to be, that mental state has to be so precious.
Yeah.
And the ego will start telling you, no, 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 no. You're leaving the others behind. Don't be so selfish. You have to remind yourself, no, I'm not leaving anybody. I'm including everybody but you. You tell leave, I'm including everybody but you. The death wish doesn't come home with me, you know?
Sí. Sí.
So Astrid, I was seeing you cooking turkey. I was going to tell you to do a Zoom while you cook the turkey.
No, I've cooked my last turkey.
Ay, mire, Paola, usted no sabe nada. See, we don't know anything. We're gonna say, I'm never gonna drink. I
No,
never have. O sea, we
we
don't know.
can't say those things. I know what the lesson was. It was so clear when I looked down and she was like, I'm leaving you a turkey. I knew it was a joke. This is all a joke. And I just laughed, and then I thought, but I didn't feel like it was for me in any moment. But it was beautiful because I was, through the turkey, I was able to extend, and I was able also to do a forgiveness that I had to do with that figure in my dream, with my neighbor. And she was very grateful, and she's always very loving.
Did you tell her that you don't like turkey?
I told her that that she has, I just said, I have this turkey here. I don't, I know that you have a lot of people to feed, and she's, they're an American family. So this is a big holiday for them. And she has a lot of people. And
I'm asking you because otherwise she would bring you cooked turkey back.
I don't know. She said that she bakes. No, she bakes. She said she was gonna bring me, because she bakes all the time. So I said, well, that's always appreciated. No, it was really beautiful. She said, well, you have a lot of people to feed. I'm like, not this year. And I don't do turkey, I do pork. So yeah, she tried to justify me keeping it. But I said, no, I'll come and get it. But yeah, for me, I just wanted to say, everything that Adriana was saying, and what came to mind was when something presents itself in my life that feels difficult to forgive, I just remind myself that there's no one illusion that's realer than another. It's just a totality. It's just one. And it's basically what Adriana was saying. I just put the difficulty in.
Right.
I want this illusion, actually, I want it to be real. I'm fine with the other. The other's not real, but this one, I want this to be real. Why? Because I want to be the victim. I want to suffer all of those things that the ego wants, because I still have fear, and I want to keep the identity of the ego.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's, like she was saying, forgiving a mosquito and forgiving your dying mother is the same thing, although our experience of it may feel differently, but it's actually the same thing. And it's helpful to see when I bring that thought into my mind, it's helpful for me to see how I still want to make some things real for myself. To exclude, that's basically excluding and piecing out, cutting up the illusion and piecing out, like, this one I can forgive, this I can forgive. That's actually the totality, because if we start forgiving one figure, like Adriana said at some point, it's never ending, because the ego's always going to bring you figure after figure after figure, situation.
Or motherfuckers, one after the other.
Yeah. And that's another trick of the ego, to keep us, says, oh, you're gonna do the course, okay, fine, let's start forgiving. And it's like, okay, forgive this one, okay, I already forgive that, okay, now forgive this, that, and then you're you're in an unending forgiveness loop. When
Okay.
Adriana has said many times, it's the totality of it. It's the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, we just start doing it where we can. We do what we can. We start forgiving one little piece, seemingly one little piece, until we get to the realization, no, it has to be the whole thing. I can't do this bit by bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no sacrifice in doing that. Your life will go in the same way.
See, your life just
The script
continues
is
the
written,
same.
you're gonna leave it. Things are gonna happen like they were gonna happen, either you forgive them or not. So the decision is actually not a decision, it's just a sensible thing. And why would I not release myself for all this suffering this time?
Mm.
Mhm.
And it's not this time in a lifetime, it's this time now.
And the ego's gonna bring stuff, I've been listening to Adriana and to you, Gary, speak, and it's been so deep and it's been so peaceful. And now I feel nauseous.
Go and throw up.
Because it's literally nauseating for the ego. So the ego's like, okay, you want to believe this? Now. So I'm sitting here and I've been several minutes, this nausea has come in.
You're not a body, watch what I do. Bam! Get the back pain, get the nausea. You know?
See.
No. I mean it. We have to be like vigilant and committed for happiness now.
Well, I'm glad that you restated Adriana's metaphor of the mosquito and a dying mother, because when she said it, I heard Adriana say, because there was a little blip in the voice, that she was forgiving the mosquito for biting the dying mother.
Oh.
I go, well, that's a new one.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Also, you also have to forgive that.
Yep. Yeah.
It's all or nothing.
Well, that is clear. That is clear. Yeah, that's been clear for me for many years. It's just the all keeps revealing itself. What that all actually means. And all doesn't necessarily mean reading the course every moment of every day. No.
Yeah. Just being in the present, that does it for you.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. And this is what has really come through the years with Curtis too. So yeah. It's such a blessing to be able to have any part of one's day spent in truth with another.
At least speaking about it.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Speaking about going there.
Yeah.
Because we cannot even speak about it. We can speak about how to get there.
Yeah.
Sí.
Yeah, it's really great. I love you guys, and I'm really enjoying these moments. Make a nice part of my quiet days that are not that quiet because I talk a lot when I'm here. And in English now, so
in English now.
a double forgiveness. So I'm good. Anything
I'm
else
good.
that you wanna?
No, not for me. Thank you. Thank you both so much. And I do love you
Yeah.
both. Just really grateful.
That's that. And thank you so much. This has been really great.
Yep.
Como
Have a
es?
great
Saca el
day.
champán, bravo. Thank you.
All right.
Los
Enjoy your
amo.
day.
Great day.
Yep.
Adiós.
Bye bye.